Hi, this is a Toshiba satellite L25S1193, and I'm going to update it to, or upgrade it to Xubuntu. And here it is. I'm just going to show you the boot up. And I believe this machine has some sort of BIOS issue, so I have to let it rest a little. Let's see. And here we go. Boot it up. And yes, that's Windows XP. It's a standard definition or aspect ratio style monitor on this laptop, or display, whatever you want to call it. There you are, the familiar login. And let's see here, go here, and right click, properties, and you can see there it is, Toshiba satellite Intel Celeron M, 1.5 gigahertz, and it's 2 gigabyte installed RAM, and part of it is shared for video. ATI graphics, ATI Radeon 200M graphics. You can see here device manager, and where display adapters. There we are. ATI Radeon Express 200M series. So we're gonna shut her down. Or actually, I'm gonna insert the CD or DVD, install DVD media in for Xubuntu right here. Not sure if you read the name on there. Little glare. That's Xubuntu 13.10 i386. And so we say goodbye to XP. Bye bye XP. Okay, so I've inserted the media before I actually shut down the machine. I inserted the media into the drive. You'll see Windows Auto detecting it. See, there's Ubuntu 13.10. And what I'll do is close that. I will turn off, and we're going to boot into it. Restart. Bye XP. See ya. Now we'll see if this machine reboots properly because of the BIOS issue. It's so old. I guess the CMOS battery must be bad or something. Remember how long it took Windows XP to shut down? Here you are. Oh, there you go. Let's see if this restarts properly. Ah, there we go. So I have to hit F12 to choose a boot option for CD, DVD. Enter. And this is the laptop booting from the Xubuntu 13.10 live DVD media. Actually, I'm not going to go into the live DVD for the demo. I'm just going to go straight to the installer. It'll take a while. takes a while to load in the system. Sorry about the glare. See if I can reduce the glare. There's a familiar boot splash from Xubuntu. You can see it's a little mouse in the icon. And remember, this is decompressing the system from a squash FS file system, so it takes a little while to load it all into RAM. And takes a little bit. Now, normally by default, the typical Ubuntu style installer, if you let it install for you without choosing any options, I believe it uses the entire disk as one partition to install everything in. The problem with that is if you need to reinstall for some reason in the future, or you want to change to a different version of Linux, and you go ahead and install, it gets complicated where you have to back up your files and start all over, fresh, and then copy your files back. What I like to do is, in the installer options, to choose something else. That's the name of the option, something else, and I choose to make a root partition somewhere around 16 gigabytes or so, or more if I have more hard drive space. And then I set aside a partition for the home partition, the home folders, which is your user data. What that means is if I decide to change the system in the future, I can keep the home partition intact without losing data files, and just change the root file system, and then it's only a matter of fixing up some of the, tidying up the settings for the desktop environment. So here are the options. Try Xubuntu or install Xubuntu. It's set in English right now, so I'll leave it there. You can see many of the different languages that you have as a choice. Quite a few. So I'll do it in English, and I'm going to install. And we can connect to the internet. Let's see. I don't see an option to enable. Alright, we won't worry about connecting to the internet. What I am going to do is install third-party software. That's all your codecs. You can see here. MP3 codecs and other codecs and things. Here are some of the requirements. And we'll hit continue. The installer has a neat interface, clear, easy to read. So you just gotta wait for that. There we go. Ah, yes, here we go. We're going to connect to a network, and I'm going to pause a moment while I type in the password. Okay, the password is typed in, and whoops. Oh, hey, that's interesting. All right. Okay, so the password is typed in, and we're going to connect to the Wi-Fi. And here's connected. Okay, what's it doing? Oh, there we go. All right. Now here's the choices. Since we're upgrading from Windows XP, it gives you a choice to install alongside XP, which would be a dual boot system. Both will be on there. You'll just have to reboot and access the other one if you want it. If you have a big enough hard drive, that's okay to do if you really need it. Or you can replace XP with Xubuntu, and see, that'll delete everything. Everything will be gone. Or I'll do something else right there. You can create or resize partitions yourself. Choose multiple partitions for Xubuntu. So I'm going to continue. Here's the hard drive. You can see it's straight up NTFS. We're going to delete the partition. Now it's free space. And we're going to first create a, let's see, a ext4 partition. Oops. We're going to make it, I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 gigabytes, I guess. Since we're, oh wow, what happened there? Since we're dealing with a very small hard drive in this laptop, I'm just going to make it 16 gigabytes, thereabouts. That's good enough, plenty. At the beginning, that's fine. The mount point is going to be root. See, that's the root partition where the system goes. And we'll hit OK. So what I'll do is I'll define a swap partition at the end of this space to make this easier. And we'll define it as 2048 megabytes. Oops. Oopsies. There we go. In space. We're going to use this as swap area. Okay. And there we go. And now this remainder I'll use as ext4, and we'll define it as home. There we go. There you are. So basically, somewhere around 16 gigabytes I'll set aside for the root for the system, and most of the space left over for the home partition where all your data files reside, all the user files. And the swap, it's actually reduced by 1. Alright. Okay, I had to fiddle with it. I had to define it as 2050 megabytes, and it came out as 2048. So there you go. So now X4 and home partition. So this would be better. There you go. So I've made some swap space to match the RAM. I have the home partition, which is pretty sizable, and the root partition has enough space to grow a little bit as long as I maintain it. The bootloader I leave alone because I only have one hard drive in the system, so it's going to be on the boot drive, of course, SDA, which is the main hard drive. So I don't have to really change anything. So other than that, so we hit install now. So while it's installing, it's going to ask some questions. Where are you? I put New York, it's close enough. Keyboard layout, for me, I don't have to change it. English US, English US, there we go. Continue. And username. I'll just change it to right. That's, and I just have to choose a password. So I typed the password, and I'm going to leave this. It says require my password to log in. I'll leave it. I'm not going to encrypt my home folder because I've heard horror stories where the system gets messed up and people have to reinstall, and then they lose their files in the home folder because they can't figure out how to fix or unlock the files for the reinstallation. So I'm sure there's ways to do that, but that's like a whole course on learning how to fix that probably. So there you go, continue. And it's going to copy files. You're going to see a little welcome to Xubuntu thing. And it's giving you a rundown of what to expect and the history behind it, I guess, or something. See, it's part of Ubuntu, and it's with XFCE desktop, which makes it Xubuntu. And of course, this video would be more exciting if I had some loud techno music blasting in the background with a beat and all that, but I'm not going to do that. And it's copying files. See your internet experience. Give me a rundown about Thunderbird email client and a Firefox browser, which quite a lot of people in Windows world are already familiar with. So and it's copying. I'm actually showing, this is not an exciting video, it's not meant to be. This is just showing you, the Windows XP user, what to experience, or how the experience would be to install Xubuntu on your old XP laptop. This is basically a what to expect video. So it's not exciting. You can actually skip through it if it looks tedious in parts. Part of what I'm showing here is the timing, how long it takes to actually install the system. From the point of installing to reboot and logging in and opening a browser, basically. I'm only pausing on the parts where I get confused or I miss a step or something. So there's a Gmusic browser, which I'm not all that familiar with, but I guess it's usable. It's telling you which menu to find it in the multimedia folder from the menu. Also, it comes with ABI Word processor. You could always install OpenOffice afterwards, which probably a lot of, or rather LibreOffice, which I think most would probably prefer LibreOffice. OpenOffice has already gone through some drama with who is behind OpenOffice and all that, or was behind it before. So LibreOffice seems to be the standard Linux Office suite. They include ABI Word probably because it's very compact to fit on the installed DVD. Let's see. That's the panel they're describing. The different areas. The desktop. The home folder where your files are. And, well, progress bar is already to the max. See the know your desktop. This is the Ubuntu Software Center to find your apps. VLC media player is very popular. And it can handle DVDs. And just about any downloaded video file you can imagine it can handle. Very convenient. And very popular. Alright, the progress bar is back to the beginning. Okay. Alright, there it is, configuring system locales. So now it's configuring everything it downloaded. And copied, rather. There it is. Thank you for taking the time with us. It's downloading updates and third-party apps, rather, I believe. I have a fast internet connection, so it may take you a little longer if you're on a slower connection. It's going to retrieve the files from the servers. Here it is. Satellite. And this is a tedious part. You could probably skip the video ahead a little bit at this point to see what happens at the end of the progress bar when it reaches the end. Many of the packages that are downloaded are located on different servers around the world. So some servers or mirrors are faster than others. So you may get some packages or some pieces of packages downloading faster than others. So that can affect the download time of any updates or packages you're installing. So it's going a little while. One of the main advantages of Xubuntu over other versions of Ubuntu is that it uses the XFC environment, which is stripped down, but it's still feature-filled enough that it's actually friendly to use. It looks familiar. There are a lot of settings with the panels you can tweak, make it look like something interesting. There is a lighter weight version of Ubuntu called Xubuntu, but it comes with the LXDE desktop environment, and some might not like how stripped down it is. My understanding with XFCE is that many things that work with GNOME desktop will work or are compatible with XFCE, so certain tweaks and things you can do probably more with XFCE than you can with LXDE. I haven't experimented with that, so again, this video is not meant to be exciting. It is meant to show you what to expect. The length of time of installing and all that. Once downloading the updates kicks into high gear, it should one of the things I did discover some time ago, which I had forgotten about, is that sometimes the Wi-Fi drivers are a little dodgy. So what I did now is plug the network cable into the laptop, and now the updates are progressing fast, and they're done. Oh wait, now they're retrieving file list. Please wait. There we go. Basically what happens is certain Wi-Fi adapters in laptops don't have proper support in the system in Linux, having to do with hardware encryptions. So basically you got to plug a network cable in to make the downloads work properly and fast. So I probably wasted about 10 minutes waiting on that. With the network cable plugged in, the downloads are very fast, depending on your internet connection, of course. Again, this is realistically what you might encounter when you try to update through your Wi-Fi and you find out that your Wi-Fi adapter is not fully supported. So you get around that temporarily by plugging the network cable in directly to the router. Just to that one time. And then there's a tweak we have to do in this particular laptop with the Atheros 5005G Atheros Wi-Fi adapter. I have to go into a file and disable hardware encryption, and then the Wi-Fi will work fast. So basically it will be using software encryption. The CPU would handle the encryption of the Wi-Fi and not the system. And I don't really notice much performance hit on that, so that's like a non-issue. You see it's downloading the language packs. Ubuntu by default supports many languages, so you can actually change a few settings and you'll be using the system in your favorite language. And I believe there may be more language packs to install manually if you wish, or if you need. And here it's installing things and configuring them. Configuring the hardware, loading modules for the devices. Cool thing about Linux is things and drivers and things are loaded at every boot time. So if you have a computer and you install Ubuntu or a variation of it, or some sort of Linux on there. I'm not sure about the other version of Linux, but I know with Ubuntu, if you install a version of Linux on your computer and then your computer crashes because of the hardware fails, or even you drop the machine, and let's say the hard drive is intact and not damaged, you could take the hard drive out and put it in another computer that is similar, whether it's 32-bit or 64-bit. And it should boot right up without you having to rejigger anything, unless you install some some proprietary graphics, then you may run into some interesting issues, but they're usually fixable quite quickly. Especially if you have access to another computer to check the forums, or your phone or whatever, to check forums and find out how to reconfigure your graphics. But typically, if you didn't have to install proprietary graphics drivers on your computer, then it should just work on another computer. And oops, the screen went to sleep. There we go. It's configuring the system to run as a fully installed system. Yeah, running post-installation trigger. That's a good sign that it's near the end of the install. Installing system. Checking for packages. Installing system. And this should be very quick soon, this part. See. And it'll support reading a DVD, playing a DVD. Although that's for your pre-recorded DVDs, that is. If you wanted to play Hollywood DVDs, store-bought Hollywood DVDs, ones you did not create, you'll have to look for the videoland.org website and search on there to how to install live DVD CSS. I believe I think that's the name of the library. But they have instructions on there. And once you install that, then you'll be able to play Hollywood DVDs, no problem. Of course, that depends on if your country allows that sort of library to be installed. They have a whole warning on that on there also. So, you know, that's up to your discretion, depending on your country. So this is configuring. Alright, it's configuring the codecs right now. And there we are. Installation complete. You need to restart the computer in order to use a new installation. Now we're going to hit restart. And remember, this is a very old computer with a slight boot problem. Sometimes it won't reboot right away and I have to shut it off for 10 or 20 seconds. So hopefully it works properly. It's going to eject the DVD, the install media, in a second. And here's the little message. It's shutting down the system. The live image from the installer. And there it is. The disk is ejected, so we gotta pull the disk out. And oddly enough, doesn't say to hit enter, but normally you hit enter and it reboots. Let's hope it's not fussy today. Let's hope it starts. And not the boot problem. There we go. That's this laptop in particular. So I'll have to power off. Okay, I counted about 15 or 20 seconds or so. And this thing is a pain. We'll try it again. Okay, and we're going to try it again. Let's hope. Hope. Nope. Nope. And here we go again. There we go. This is the first boot. And now right now we're plugged into the network cable. So when we log in and we check the browser, it's going to work flawlessly. There you go. It's the login. So we will the very first boot into the fully installed system. And the desktop will take a second to configure itself. And we should get a wallpaper background soon. There we go. And there you are. And there's a taskbar on the bottom, which is actually a panel made to look like a dock sort of thing. We have the menu up here. Application menu. We open that. Web browser. And there we are. And if we go to, let's say, YouTube, I don't recall if Flash is installed by default. I think it might be. I think I saw it installing. And let's just click a video, any video. Yeah, Flash is installed by default. There you go. And for some reason the volume stays down. And there's supposed to be a fix for the volume control notification thing. So there you are. That's Xubuntu, and we've added life and security to an old XP laptop that was very insecure. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.